objections. I wrote down like 4 of them that I heard on your calls today. I think they're, you're gonna get to you haven't figured it out already. How often is it that we hear something we haven't heard before? It's all the same shit, right? So some of them you're good at overcoming. You probably remember a circumstance where you.
What if it's a female business owner? She says she's having a baby.
She'd probably be screaming.
No, like in a couple weeks. Like she's pregnant. I've had that one before though.
Congratulations.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
Who remembers Lance Machine? Does anybody remember Lance Machine?
Yeah.
He was on the phone with a client and said, my wife's having a baby or something like that, and he says, oh, congratulations, I take it it's a boy or a girl. I'll never forget that. Never. All kinds of crazy shit that came in. Anyway, alright, so objections. How about a few? Come on, what are you struggling with?
Not interested.
No time.
No time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
too busy.
Too busy.
No time or too busy?
I just
Those are
can't
pretty
right now.
much the same objection.
Yeah, same.
I just can't right now.
That's a big one though.
Okay, what else?
I'm not interested.
I'm not interesting.
Yeah, I know interesting on that. I know interesting right now. Not right now, too
Right,
busy, okay?
Every time I'm not interesting.
No interesting.
Not a CPA.
Okay,
Yeah, CPA though. That's a big one.
I have a CPA.
I won't be in tomorrow.
I have,
Off flat out.
CPA. Is that, okay, I won't be in tomorrow?
Yeah.
Doesn't that fit over
Out of
there?
town, right?
Out of town, or,
Going to July.
not in tomorrow.
Partner issues.
Huh?
Partner issues.
Gotta talk to the
What?
partner. Partner
That's my
issues.
partner.
Yeah, like what?
I gotta talk to my partner first. I can't be with you guys
Yeah.
before I talk to my partner.
That's what they should tell the rep though.
Yeah, do you really hear that?
I will say this, I had
You're
one.
not asking them to really make a decision, so it's not,
Yeah, I guess you're right.
are you really hearing that? I mean, if you're hearing it, we'll talk about it.
I've heard it before, but I'm not saying it's that
It's
often.
rare, right?
Over.
I mean, usually it's a.
Once in a blue moon.
You guys call every day, all day.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
You guys call every day, all day.
Yeah, what the fuck is wrong? And you're not hearing us. You call too much?
Impossible, we weren't here yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. We
Just
travel.
2 weeks this morning.
We travel.
Are you here? Okay,
I'm retired.
I'm retired.
Non-owner.
Well,
Alright,
to
not
kind of go in with
retarded.
what she said, I've
Says they're
had
an
where
owner
I
and they're
talked
not?
to like a dad that has said like, well, I don't run the business, my son does. And then I'll ask him, obviously, well, are you the owner? And he'll say yes, but it's like, we need to meet with the son, right? And we need to meet with, we need to meet with both of them, basically.
Okay, so then
But
that's-
sometimes,
that's
what if
good.
you can only get the dad to
Okay.
get something? And then the other one is, I don't like go to, I don't go to workshops, or I don't go to seminars, or I don't go to anything.
I'm gonna add, cause you guys have pretty much taken, you've come up with most of them. But I'm just gonna throw one more in here, which was, you call me too much, or other companies call me.
Oh, I gotta go up for that.
And then one more would be, I don't think you can help me. I heard that today
Yeah.
on yours, Puto. Sometimes they'll phrase it, I don't see the need or the reason. Okay, so, real quick, I put partner over here because we're gonna address that, but recap from the last time we talked. How does this progress? Let's go over that again, real quick, because it's very, very important
Gatekeeper.
on all this. Yeah, you got a gatekeeper, and then you got, greeting,
Greetings and pitch.
Intro.
Intro.
yep, your
Then
pitch, and then
Close.
close. And it always comes back to here before you can move on to your 8-step close, which is ownership, employees, volume, time, address, yeah, all that cross, whatever the hell, the rest of it, okay? Again, this progression is very, very important, very, very important, okay? Because this is now a little plug-in in here, like when you close and he gives you, remember he gives you the objection, actually this is not, he gives you an objection and then you overcome it and then you gotta be able to close again, with a rebuttal. and then back to the close, okay? So that's what 90% of the calls I hear are missing. 90%. You may close once, but then you get this objection and you rebut it, and instead of trying to close, you go right to here, assuming that you have, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay? And then we wonder why the guy says, I didn't set a fucking appointment. No shit, you didn't set an appointment, because you never asked him for it. Once he says yes, by the way, now all of this, you can ask something like, how many employees do you have? What kind of revenue did you do last year? You can ask these questions because now you have an agreement. Now it makes sense, right? Okay. No time, too busy, not interested, I have a CPA, out of town, not in tomorrow, you call too much, other companies already called me, I'm retired, talk to my son, and blah, blah, blah. There's two differences. You need to know how to differentiate between an excuse and a hedge. Okay? You have to be able to differentiate between what the client's saying. Is it an excuse or is it a hedge? Anybody know why that's important?
Because he's to tell whether or not he's bullshitting you?
Well, excuses, you're probably not giving him enough reason to,
Stop by.
have interest in what we do.
Yeah,
Like,
or
what's
he
in it
could,
for them to
he could
make
ju-
an excuse?
he could look, he could genuinely be trying to be polite, right?
Yeah.
Like he respects you because you have a job to do, but he really just doesn't even want to hear anything about it, right? No idea, he has no fucking clue what we're talking about, what it could do, no idea. But he just kind of wants to not deal with a telemarketing call right now or a sales call, right? Okay, the reason this is important is because an excuse cannot be overcome. Because it's not true in the first place. How are you gonna overcome a lie? You can't. And in that case, you have to acknowledge it. And ignore. You ignore it. You ignore it. The guy gives you a lie, I understand, that's acknowledgement. I get it, that's acknowledgement. Sure, I hear you, that's acknowledgement. And then you totally fucking ignore it. Completely ignore it. Because 9 times out of 10, the excuse the guy gives you is just some, if your phone rang right now from a number you didn't know and you picked it up and there was a slight delay and then you heard, yes, can I speak with Jesus Morales? Okay, what does your instinct tell you right then and there?
Hang on.
Yeah.
Hang up the frickin' phone, make up some bullshit, you're gonna be polite about it, you might say, I'm sorry, I don't have any time right now, even though you're sitting around in your underwear watching soap
What is
operas.
this about?
Yeah, whatever, there's a million programmed responses that you're just firing out because you've assessed that this is somebody you really don't wanna talk to. They might have the cure for cancer, but you, unlikely, and you're not paying any attention to it. So you give them some excuse. The reality is it came off the top of their head. It was just whatever sounded good at the moment. I promise you, if you go through this and this and this and this and this and this and this, the original excuse he gave you, he's gonna totally forget about it. And unless you bring it back up, it'll never come up again. If you address it, you're solidifying it. It's an excuse, it's not true, forget it. So, a hedge is a legitimate reason that the client is using to not move forward, if there's something legitimate there, okay? In which case, you have to overcome that. The difference is, this one is true, this one is not true, okay? So let's look at our objections, and let's look at it through the lens of, is he giving me an excuse, is he giving me some bullshit, or is he giving me a hedge I can actually have a chance of overcoming? No time, too busy.
An excuse.
I think so, most of the time. That's not to say that he is sitting around twiddling his thumbs all day long, okay? But the truth of the matter is, you're asking for 10 minutes. Come on. Somebody comes in, for example, you're a car dealer, for example. Somebody comes in, the owner's in the parts department, guy comes in, wants a little frickin' thing for $2, right? and he orders the part for $2 and the owner spends a half hour shooting the shit about football, okay? For $2 in revenue, and you're asking for 10 minutes from the guy who says, I don't have any time. He's got time. He's got time. He just doesn't know yet that yours is important enough for him to take the time. Now it's on you, okay? So, you know, I get it, I'm busy too. I mean, that's what I always used to say. I get it, anybody understands that? I do, I'm busy too. My associate, because again, when they give you this, where are we here?
Kitchen.
The rebuttal.
Hi, can I call you right back? Yes, it is, because the hotel was not available Wednesday. They didn't have a room for us Wednesday. So we didn't really have a whole big number. We figured we might be a little behind the eight ball anyway. One day, Tuesday. Okay, I'll call you, thank you.
Objection.
All right, so where are we? Yeah, we're in objection, right? He's giving you an objection. And then your rebuttal is what? Let's talk about some of that. I'm too busy. How do we overcome that?
Agree with them.
Yeah,
Yes, sir, we know you're too busy.
yeah.
Department is busy.
I know, I get it, I'm busy too. We wanted 10 minutes to introduce our company, tell you what we're doing. We work in the areas of blah, blah, blah. You gotta give them something, but then, where do you go?
Next
Back
question?
there.
Like, let me ask you
Close it.
this, and then.
You're taking them somewhere else.
Back to close it.
You can,
Yeah.
but you never
That's
know
why I
where
thought
that's
you were
gonna go,
saying
and it's
to, like-
kinda like,
You ask what time you're gonna be in
you
tomorrow?
have to end up back here. You have to end up back there.
ABC.
You
Let me
have
ask
to,
you
but
this, what time do you get in tomorrow morning? Are you like, cause I'm thinking when you're saying that, you're, like you said, throwing them off and ignoring it, so instead of
by
like.
saying, I get it, I'm
Let
busy
me,
too.
let me ask you this,
Yeah.
and then you can like ask
Right.
a question.
There's another
Yes.
level, there's another layer too.
I know.
Benefit.
Well, that's the value of
Okay.
it, yeah.
Correct, that it's gonna be a benefit. Your client should expect to receive something of some kind of benefit, that he's gonna benefit from it. For example, I'm too busy. I know you're busy, and we've been really busy because all the tax laws have changed lately, but we figured out how everybody's getting screwed and the things that the IRS doesn't want you to know. So if there's anything in your mind that's uncertain about how your taxes are gonna look with these new changes, you should spend 10 minutes with Danny. Can you give him 10 minutes tomorrow afternoon? And then here's a very important part we forgot to talk about last time. After you close, immediately after you close, what's the most important thing?
So that's gonna be the owner.
After you close, the minute you make a statement, can we meet you tomorrow? What's the most important thing?
Validate it.
To shut the hell
Get a
up.
receipt?
Say it again, Fish.
To shut the hell up.
Yeah, let them answer.
Oh, you have to. You have to. You have to. You have to. Can you give him 10 minutes tomorrow? Maybe afternoon, maybe morning. As long as you're not busy, maybe we can catch you by that. You've lost it. That's not a close.
You're begging.
You're vomiting all over the fucking guy. Literally, it's just.
Now he knows it. Now he
And
knows
he's
it.
going, wow, you didn't give it. There's a natural course of dialogue in human beings that says, can you meet us tomorrow morning? If you shut up, he's now forced subconsciously to say something.
I've had it where like you want them to be like, you want it almost to be silent, like almost uncomfortable, because you want them to.
Here's
think
one more
that
thing,
it's
yes,
like-
here's one more thing, write this down.
Cause I've had them, they'll say like, okay, well, let me, 1 second, let me look at my calendar, and then, yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
told too, that's what, yeah,
Whoever speaks first loses.
yeah.
When you close, can you meet us 10 minutes tomorrow? Well, what is this all about? It can legitimately be that long. He's getting uncomfortable. You can't back down. He's eventually gonna say something. Whoever speaks first loses. And then you can go back into, well, we're a tax resource firm, we're a business development company, we work in areas of cash management, cost control, business marketing, finance, blah, 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 blah. What we wanted to do now is just come in and introduce ourselves and tell you what we're doing, and see if there's reasons to move forward and talk further. Can you meet him tomorrow at 3? And then shut up and let him answer. It's not rocket science, but we can't be all over the place talking about all kinds of crazy shit. We have to have some structure. Okay, so no time too busy. We've established that it's typically an excuse, right?
Yes.
That deserves acknowledgement and to just completely ignore it. I'm not interested.
We know.
I think that's a hedge. It can
Yes.
be,
It can be both if you're not putting the benefit like you said, but.
correct, it's an
because
indication.
You can't get over that. You
If
just have to
he
get more
knew
value.
what we were really doing,
Not sold yet.
it would be different. He's not sold yet. You haven't sold him yet. My typical response to that was, I understand. I haven't shown you anything yet. What we wanted to do was come in for 10 minutes, introduce our company, tell you what we're doing, and see if there's common grounds to move forward. Can you give them 10 minutes tomorrow? Right? That's it. I mean, you're making a statement, you're closing, you're waiting for a response, and to give you something else. I think most of the time, this would be a hedge. Because he's actually telling you the truth. And some people, realistically, the guy who doesn't have the balls to say this, says this. Do we agree? The guy who doesn't have the balls to actually say, listen, I'm really not interested, is saying, oh, I really don't have any time. We're just so busy right now with all these things that are coming, and it's after the first of the year, and it's blah, blah, blah. I mean, they're like an excuse factory. I mean, let him talk, and you'll hear how many, write down how many did he just give me in one breath. Like, they can't all be true. Come on, they can't all be 100% accurate, One thing I used to say, I'll save that for, I got a few things. Okay, have a CPA. I think that's a hedge. Yep, that's typically a hedge. So how do we overcome that one?
Keep them, good.
The people we work with have them also.
Agree with them.
We're not trying to replace anything of what you have.
Yeah.
Just add
They're important
on.
for your business.
We're not trying to replace him. We're not CPAs. That's not what we do. Right? Yep. We're a law firm. You can say that,
Just tax law?
particularly if you're talking about taxation today.
Yeah, tax law.
If we
We're an
represent a law
engineer
firm.
firm, we're an
Yes.
engineer firm too.
Huh?
We're an engineering firm.
Oh.
Are we?
That's true. No, of course not. That's for everybody that says BT engineering, BT construction. Yeah, no, stop lying to the frickin' client. Stop lying to his secretary, stop lying to the client. Okay, so CPA objections are simply a cry for more information, right? We're not a CPA, that's not what we do. You need your CPA, we're not here to replace him. What we wanted to do was have Dan come by for 10 minutes and introduce our company and show you what we're doing and see if there's common grounds to move forward. Can you give him 10 minutes at 10 o'clock? Right? You've got to go to the close. Don't forget, you've got to go to the close. And then shut up. And either he's going to give you another excuse or he's going to give something else. He's going to give an excuse or he's going to give you another hedge. Or he'll say, yeah, okay, fine, 10 minutes. Okay? Out of town, not in tomorrow?
That's an excuse.
Excuse.
That's right down the middle, man.
Yeah.
50-50.
Yeah, 'cause-
Either he's full of shit, and one of the ways you can try to flush this out is just by saying, oh, okay, well, how about Thursday?
That's, yeah.
Well, no, it's gonna, okay, how about Friday? Well, no, I was gonna, how about, listen, in the next 3 days, you tell me you don't have 10 minutes to meet with somebody to figure out how to reduce your taxes? You don't have 10 minutes to figure out with someone how to improve your business? You can't spend 10 minutes with somebody and try to figure, you eventually you flush that out and what are we really talking about? And then he starts saying, I have a CPA, or I don't think you can help me, or he's giving you real answers,
Okay,
right?
what if when he say, okay, Friday, make it Friday, then what?
You say, okay, what time? And let him give it to you, okay? That's it. Say, okay, put it on your calendar, we're gonna be there. But then you gotta talk to him the day before. You can't I can't send a frickin', if I sent a job down to John and Tyler that I sent 3 weeks ago and never frickin' talked to the client the day before, they'd have my ass. You can't do that. We appreciate the commitment, Mr. Client. I wouldn't tell him we're calling you the day before. I would just call him. And when the secretary says, oh, he's not in, say, okay, listen, I talked to him a week ago, we set an appointment for tomorrow at 10 o'clock, he told me he put it in his calendar, I just wanna make sure, can you tell me if it's in his calendar? Can you put me through to his cell phone? Some way, and she comes back and says, yeah, you're from business today, yep, you're in here. That's the other reason why BT Inc. or BT contracting is really a bad idea. Because he might have it in there as something totally different. How many times do we have a refusal because you said BT construction and let the client believe we were coming in to ask for contracts? And here comes this guy selling tax from Taxation Today, and the guy says, I didn't set an appointment with your company, and yet we have the tape that says, yeah, he set an appointment. How does that happen? Anyway, everybody agree this is right down the middle, and you really have to discern which is which. You can flush it out. If he says it right out of the gate, because, you know, Jesus, you call sometimes, and he says, the first words out of your mouth is, I want to stop by, are you going to be in tomorrow? If he says, no, I'm going to be out tomorrow, chances are you're probably not there. Because he doesn't know anything about anything, right? He knows nothing. So that means either he's lying right out of the gate in preparation for whatever it is you have to say next, or he's really not going to be in.
Yeah.
So that's that. In that case, it's a hedge, and we got to overcome it either by trying to set it for a different time, or whatever we can do. You call too much. Other companies call me. It's true. It's probably a hedge. Probably something that's going on. So what is he really saying when he says you call me too much?
Nobody's told me what you do yet.
What's the key? Yeah, that's
Or show the interest, like, or show the benefit of,
very true. The other thing is, who's telling you this? Is the secretary telling you that? Is the screener telling you that? Or is the client telling you that? Because my money's on the fact that the secretary is the one telling you this more often than the client. Because she's the one sitting there watching the frickin' caller ID come up time and time and time again. Not the owner, right? Unless you're calling his cell, unless you got a cell number. That happens to me a couple of times. You know how many times you call me? Yeah, why don't you answer? Just answer the phone. That's what I say. I mean, the guy says, you know how many fucking times you call me? You know how many times you haven't answered? Why don't you just answer the phone? What happened? You paid $300 for this fucking thing and now you want to blow it off. That doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't I keep calling you? We owe you a service, pal. Just pick up the phone. Usually you put them in right back in there. Oh, right. Are you in Monday? And then, either we're getting it or we're not, But if they're up and all, feathered up, and I just right at them, Dude, what? Answer the phone. It's a phone call. How about other companies call me? Because I heard that today. When they say, other companies are calling me and this didn't work out and, it never worked, I don't think it's for us and blah, 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 blah.
I flat out have told them, honestly, I don't want you to judge us based on other companies, just like I'm sure you as a company wouldn't want to be judged on someone else's.
That's brilliant.
experience.
Yep.
I say
Don't
like,
judge us
And I don't
on
do it,
someone
yeah.
else's failures.
Because
Every
then you
company's
wouldn't want
unique in
to
their
as
own
well
way,
either.
just
Yeah.
like you are like every other contractor out there, right?
Yeah.
And they always say, yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I got one guy today too.
I used to say, I don't know either. If we could show you how to reduce your taxes beyond what your accountant's done, is that worth 10 minutes? Yes, because there's your close, right?
Right there?
You've answered and there's your close. I don't know if you can help me. Moving into this one. I don't think you can help me. I don't know that either. What I do know is we save a lot of clients a lot of money in tax, and every one of them told me I have an accountant. What we wanted to do is spend 10 minutes with you, have a dialogue, see if there's something we can do. If there is, great. If there's not, that's okay too. Can you give them 10 minutes tomorrow morning? Basically, do a takeaway. Look, I don't know either. I can't help everybody. I don't know either. But let's not speculate. Let's spend 10 minutes and actually figure it out.
You guys hear me confirm,
Yeah.
and I put that in his mouth before he gives it to me.
Yeah.
So, when I'm confirming, I tell him straight up, sir, we called you, I have no clue if you're gonna have a need or an interest in what we do. Our goal right now is to show you what we do and how we've done it for other people. If there's a need or an interest, you'll know.
Yeah.
But if you put the objection in his mouth before he spits it to you, he's got nothing to fucking say.
That's right.
The main word there, dialogue.
Yeah, dialogue.
I've never heard that ever mentioned by
That's what we
anybody
need. We need to engage in a dialogue with
Right.
the client, and we can figure out
yet.
if we
Never
can
heard
help.
that. I know, I keep telling Pluto, we need to It's one word, and we talked about
That
this.
might scare some people, so use it when you're open, when
You can
you're
read-
engaged
you
in a
can-
conversation.
Yeah, there's some, like you said, where I
you're talking to
I
an
can do that
engineer-
whole thing.
Yeah.
And then there's others where I know I've kinda gotta jump around and have a little bit of a conversation with them and get some of those things,
Yes,
and then.
my point to you is, when he gives you an objection and you offer a rebuttal, if you let it drop there and you expect the client to say, oh, well, in that case, have him here at 9 o'clock, you're freaking losing it. Once you offer I need you guys, and you need you guys, to have a close instinctively follow a rebuttal. Instinctively. Without question, every single time. I'm really busy. I'm busy too. You know, or how about call me first? Listen, we work on schedules just like you do. I can't tell him how his day might look tomorrow. Give him 10 minutes first thing in the morning. What time do you come in? 11 o'clock. We'll be there. 7 o'clock. We'll be there. Can you give him 10 minutes? Sure. Great. The close has to come after all these rebuttals. If you get nothing else right, get that right, and I promise you, you will see a dramatic increase in the number of leads you write and the number of sits you get to your right as a percentage of the leads that you're writing. Because closing is actually asking for the order. And when the client says yes, he has now given that to you. I can't tell you how many times we greet, we pitch, we close, he gives us an objection, we give a rebuttal, and we start going through this and say, have a great day.
See you tomorrow.
That is what we do. And the client had nothing. We need to engage in a dialogue. Yeah.
And the best part is that when you do it the way you just said, and actually give him a time, he knows when not to be there now.
Yeah, right.
That's
Right.
true.
If he's giving you the time, he'll be there. If you're giving him the time, assuming he said okay, he knows when not to be there.
100%. John taught us that years ago.
It makes sense too. The other one you don't have is email me something or put it in the
Yeah,
mail.
that's just benefit. That's benefit. And again, we need to be able to develop something in our pitch that we can say when he says, email me something, say, listen, with all due respect, the new tax law changes are 50,000 pages on top of a 75,000 page tax code. There is no way I can email you something. We need to come in and have a dialogue about what's affecting you and what's not affecting you, and we'll see if we have something to talk about. Can you give him 10 minutes at 9 o'clock? Shut up and let him answer. That's the most ridiculous thing in the world. I would like to get my taxes done. Can you email me something? What is it you'd like me to email you? Are you kidding me? No. What we do is not sold. Here's a couple of lines real quick. Write these down. These are just general lines that just popped in my head that I used to use all the time and they worked well. Are you open-minded to ways to improve? You can say ways to improve or ways to reduce your tax. Are you open-minded to ways to make the company easier to run? Are you open-minded to ways to make more money? Are you open-minded to ways to control your growth? If the guy says, I'm way too busy, I'm out for people, are you open-minded to ways of hiring and retaining people? Yes. Give my guy 10 minutes tomorrow, we'll talk about that. What time's best for you? Are you open-minded to this? Whatever. You need to figure out how to phrase that and use his excuse. Oh, we really can't afford any other money. What you do in revenue, does everybody understand? The guy says, we can't afford, your next question needs to be, what you do in revenue? Or at least establish how many employees he has or something. We can't afford, he might be thinking it's something totally huge. He might not be, who knows? But you gotta figure that out right then and there. And as long as it qualifies, then say, are you open-minded to ways of being more profitable? Are you open-minded to ways to better control your costs? Well, yeah. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Can you give him 10 minutes tomorrow?
I've been doing this for 30 years.
I've been doing this for 30 years?
Yeah, right after you say that, he says to you, I've been doing this for 30 years. How do you rebuttal it?
Typically speaking, we find that our clients don't have 30 years of experience. They have 1 year of experience. They've done it 30 times. Have you changed in 30 years? Have you grown in 30 years? Are you doing the same thing you were doing 30 years ago? They'll always say, no, absolutely not. Okay, so things are always changing. Yes. Are you open-minded to new ideas to improve your business? Yes. That's what we're talking about. Can you give them 10 minutes at 9 tomorrow? Shut up. Let them answer.
9's not good, 11's better. Half the time goes.
Let me see. You're over on such and such? Yeah, I can get him there by 11. Okay. And you're the owner? And you're the, and you just make up some bullshit and makes it sound like
But the
you're
most
doing him a
important
favor.
thing-
Now you're doing him a favor. You better be there at 11.
The most important thing you guys have to remember though, is that it's how you say it. If you're coming off as a telemarketer reading shit, you're fucking dead. If you have a conversation with this guy and talk with him instead of at him, you're gonna win a lot more fights, I promise you.
See, I was always told not to ask so many questions that was a yes or no answer. That ask them things like, well, what would it mean for you if we could show you, this or that, or things that they actually had to give more of an answer instead of everything yes and no.
Open-ended questions will stimulate a conversation or a dialogue.
Yeah.
They're important to ask. But a close can't be an open. How's a close an open-ended question? I mean, you need him to say yes,
Yeah.
right? That's not to take away from the importance of open-ended questions. Open-ended questions will keep the conversation going, will force the client to engage. And it depends on what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Are you happy with your profit? Okay, that's a shitty question.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna say yes, to shut you up. We know that, right? We're not engaged yet, we're not, but closes, I can't think of one that would be an open-ended question.
How about,
You need a yes.
how much is this gonna cost me?
No clue.
Nothing.
That's why he's stopping by tomorrow.
Yeah, no,
Wants
So
introduce
talk to
himself
him?
and show you
Nothing.
what we do.
no, he's coming by, no cost or obligation. We just wanna talk to you and see if there's grounds to do business, then we can talk about that. What time do you come in?
I'm just laying it out for everybody.
That's okay. It's a fair question, right? How much is it gonna cost me? Nothing, we're coming out on, this is no cost or obligation, but we wanna talk to you about what we do and see if there's common grounds, and then we can talk about all of that.
How do you do the whole thing with because I've had a bunch where, again, the father's the owner, the son runs it, or they're both owners, and it's just.
And the
Because I'll
okay,
get the reps will be
yeah,
like,
okay.
well, is he the full owner? I
Talk to
feel
my
like-
son, let's do this. Okay, where is this? Here or here?
I mean, it's
Excuse.
both, I feel like it's both
It's
though.
not both.
It's an excuse.
It's
Well-
not both. If you're talking to the dad and he's saying, talk to my son, that's not both. My son's in charge, my son's in charge. You know why he says that? Because he's been saying, you're gonna run this company one day, son. You better get good at this so you can take over this company. You're gonna be the best this company's ever seen. You're gonna be better than me. He's been selling it
But
on
how
that
many
for
times
20
have
freaking years.
How many times then have we spoken with, it's happened where they need to, another partner involved then too, or they need, it's like, we can't always get both partners.
I'm not asking you to, but in a father-son situation, I bet you it's the dad.
Yeah.
No matter what the son does on a daily basis, if he wanted to take all the company trucks and paint them pink with fucking purple polka dots, I guarantee you the dad's gonna have a problem with that. He's gonna step in and say, what the hell are you doing? Unless dad's totally retired, we've been transitioned over for 2 years, I am the sole owner, unless you're dealing with that, unless the son's saying that, no, it's dad, oh, dad's still around, he still owns a piece of it, it's dad. Dad's the client. You will be wrong far less times taking that approach than you would saying, well, maybe the son can make a decision. No. He can make a decision in the normal course of business. We are not normal course of business. Guarantee you it's the dad.
That's
Junior,
one-
senior, senior. Every freaking time. Every single time. Junior, senior, senior. Every single time. Junior the third. Junior. Always, 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 always. He's there. He's got his hand in the cookie jar. Period. Right? All right. Any other questions? Did I help you guys?
Yeah.
I
That's
wanna
some-
say one more thing too.
Yeah.
That, remember how earlier you were like, the BC's on the phone, they're scrambling and. trying to
Yeah,
figure
you gotta
it out.
slow down.
Here's the thing, when that happens, and John taught me this fucking the first week I was here, when that happens, You're letting the client understand that we need him more than he needs us.
Okay.
So if you don't scramble for fucking shit, and you're not begging him for shit, you're making him understand now that he needs us more than we need him.
Alright, thanks for the comment.
So don't scramble,
What happens?
don't start throwing everything you have at him, it doesn't make sense to.
Write that down, because that's very, very key. And by the way, here's one other thing, in regards to this. Mirroring your client is okay, as long as it's taking us closer to the sale. If it's taking us closer to a hang up.
What does that mean?
What do you mean?
What does that mean? Mirror.
If you get, okay, so here, if we, well, but see, the whole point is you guys have to actually listen. You gotta listen to what's not being said, you gotta listen to what's going on in the background, you gotta listen to the inflection, why would the client choose these words over those words? You actually have to listen really, really closely to everything that's going on around, not the words that are coming out, but why he's saying what he's saying. If you listen to that, you'll learn a whole bunch. Like, you know, when I call a client, yeah, John there? Yeah, this is John. Hi, John. Jermey Webb calling from Taxation today. How are you? Oh, okay. Good. You met with Danny from our company, Dan Light. Do you remember meeting with him? Oh, yeah, nice fellow. Yes, nice. He said a lot of good things about you, too. Okay, mirroring that. When a client starts going, I really don't have time for this, I don't have time for this, I gotta get going, I got all these guys staring me in the face right here, and we're going, okay, but just give them, 10 minutes, if maybe he caught you yet. Stop. You understand what I'm saying? It's just, you're pushing it to a click, right? In that case, listen, I understand, I'm busy too. The only other exception to that would be where you start with a dynamic of, yeah, I get it, I really get it, I understand, because I've seen what you're saying, but you know, my experience leads me to believe that most business owners are just caught up in the day-to-day details of their business. You meet them here for a split second, and then you bring them down in tone. Has nothing to do with what you're saying. You're taking him where he's at, but you can't stay here long, and you certainly can't be driving that. You know what I mean? I got all these guys sitting around, oh man, sounds like you're really busy. I totally get it, because I've worked with a lot of companies and a lot of owners over the last few years, and I find that they're absolutely inundated with day-to-day. They never have a chance to actually work on what's important. So if there's any truth to that, Mr. Client, give my guy 10 minutes tomorrow so he can explain to you what we're doing. I think it might actually help you out. Can you meet him at 10? You know what I'm saying? What time do you come in? The point is, in that hustle and bustle and you met him there for a split second, and then you brought him back down, and you'll know if he's followed you on that. You can lead him back down where we can have a calm conversation, because nobody's ever said, you know, I really appreciate your call, and I know you have a job to do, but I'm gonna hang up now, okay? Have a good day. That doesn't happen, right? It's always, no, I can't do this, I'm real busy, thanks. Right or wrong? Okay, so if you get them to follow you back to this, where you're having a normal conversation at a normal level, and you're not, you know, it's just like if you, how many have kids? How many people ever had kids, ever seen kids, siblings? None of you fucking guys have any kids?
They are kids, that's why. They're all kids.
I ain't got no kids, but I got
Alright.
nieces and nephews.
Well, if you have kids and they're running around like crazy, and you go running around like crazy too and trying to have blah, 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 you're feeding that. You're feeding it. You're lighting a fire under it. You're moving it forward even beyond that. You are then sustaining it. And whereas if you bring it down, you take the kid, you look him right in the eye and you say, listen, I understand what's going on, but I'm telling you right now, you need to calm down.
Knock it off, right?
Something's gonna happen. You'll bring them down. It's the same thing with a client. If you can bring them down to this level, now you have an opportunity to get re-engaged in this stuff. Otherwise, you don't, right? So, mirroring, be careful when you mirror the client. But a lot of you, when I hear what you're talking, I don't hear dynamics in the way you're talking about. I don't hear, sometimes you're hot, sometimes you're not, sometimes you're strong and forceful, sometimes you're not. I don't see a dynamic. I hear the same thing over and over and over again, and if it bores the hell out of you, it's probably boring the hell out of the client. Have a conversation and use these tools to do that. Any other questions? Okay, so we'll talk again next Thursday.
Excellent.